Right, I have got a new guest for you today. My friend, my Hillis Pugh, all the way from the USA. And Hillis and I met when we were through Asea. I mean, actually, the brilliant business of Asea is how I've met so many like-minded people. And we'll talk about that in a minute, Hillis. But I was so pleased to actually fit you to fit me into your busy schedule, because Hillis, you're an author, you're a teacher, you're a speaker, you're a holistic practitioner. So today we're going to be having a really great chat today about gratitude, about the law of vibration, and also about Lemurian healing energy. So how are you doing? And please
I'm good. It's a beautiful day here in sunny Florida. It might rain because we're about to enter rainy season and hurricane season. So batten down the hatches, as they say.
yeah, well, we've got lovely sunshine here in the UK today. So the rabbits are out, the guinea pigs are out, the cats, the dogs, the horses. So I'm always happy. And I've also got my lovely mood drink here, which is really, if I start giggling, you know why. But I want to know more about you, and so do my listeners. So one of the things you say you do is you're a soul mentor. Tell us all
Yeah.
about your work. How do you work with clients and how do you work with your teaching?
So the reason why one chose the term or title soul mentor is that's exactly what I do. I work with clients one-on-one, preferably, or in a group setting. And people come to me with various traumas, energy ailments, because everything begins and ends with energy. And it is in that respect that I have done so much work on myself
Mm.
that I understand how energy speaks, the vibration that it speaks. And so when you work with the soul is 70% of your energetic makeup while you are incarnated here on the planet.
Wow.
30% is you. So when you work with someone, when I work with someone on a soul level, it's pretty much working with them on that level to bring in, anchor in, for them to fully embody that in which they wish to clear out, which they no longer want to carry in their vibrational field or energy. So I mentor them on a soul level to clear out all the gunk and to say, enough is enough. Let's start over. What is it that you want to do to make your life better, to make you better, to make you feel more alive and vibrant?
Wow, I've never heard it explained like that, in terms of the soul is sort of 70% and your physical body 30. I mean, how did you get to that realization? Where does that, how I've literally never heard that before.
Well, that
Fascinating.
came to me in channeling of energy and information that I was doing on myself. It was in that space of self discovery where I've learned that. Because just imagine, we are all born in the ethers. We are all born of energy. And so to have the capacity to return to that space, something has to be left behind. And so in that space has to be a great mass of energy. So just imagine, you know, uh, you are trying to take a massive, the only thing I could think of right now is a bedspread, a giant comforter, and you have this, you know, 10 by 10 by 10 box, it's a pretty small box. And the comforter is really massive. So you're trying to fit all of the entire king or queen size or even a twin size comforter into this tiny box. It all won't fit. So you have to, discard what won't fit. And so that's pretty much how it works in the physical body. Just imagine that you are this abundant of energy, this abundant of soul matter that's trying to squeeze into every single cell, squeeze into every single DNA. And the stuff that makes it in is the stuff that is required for you to live in this life.
Mm.
Though there's remnants of other lives that you can access. But what's required now is here, and the rest is up in the ethers.
Wow, that's fascinating. I can remember years ago, probably about 20 years ago now, when I really started down on my spiritual journey, I started following the Institute of Noetic Sciences. And they've
Mhm.
got some amazing information on them. One of the experiments I was looking at the time was how when people pass or die, they can actually measure something leaving their body. It weighs a tiny, tiny amount, but at that time they can measure this tiny thing leaving, which thinking the soul, the essence. There's fascinating people looking at this from so many different areas all over the world. And, so much of the things that we've been told are sort of very much a bit woo-woo, a bit you can't prove it. Actually, there's so many ancient philosophies, spiritual teachings, mystery school teachings, etc., that all pull together the same information in a different way. How does that link in then? How do you use that information in your sessions with people? Because you also do psychic work, don't you?
I do. I do a little bit of everything. And so and how it pulls in is with the people that I work with their permission, I am able to access such things such as their Akashic records and energies of their soul. And in that space, that our field of energy carries information. Our cellular structure, our DNA carries information, and it carries, the memories of our present life, our past life, our traumas, our hurts, our pains, our shames, our guilts, all of it. Because this is how we remember and we react, and sometimes it's triggered by events because of things that occurred. And it's in that essence and presence that I work with them on a soul level, even down to the energetic level, to the DNA, to assist in clearing what needs to be cleared from that space, so that way they can not feel the burden or the weight of previous experiences, such as the trauma, shame, pain, guilt, and etc.
That's amazing. I mean, without giving away anything confidentiality wise, if you've got some examples of the type of breakthroughs people can have by working with themselves on this level, with you
Oh
facilitating it.
wow, this is my favorite thing, and forgive me if I'm a bit emotional. Just it just excites me with so much love and so much joy because of the transformation that I witness with people. And it's interesting enough that 80% of my clients are women. And
Mm,
in that 80%, about 60 to 70% of them, more than half, have dealt with sexual abuse.
mm.
Myself personally have not been a victim of that. I've known people who were victims of that. So Spirit was like, okay, we choose you to work with these women to help them deal with their trauma, which I appreciate because it helps me to see the weight, the burden that they carry is so much greater than even the men who I have worked with that has been sexually abused as well. And so it's just their transformation of them feeling more confident, more self assured, and even a bit more sexy, if you will. Coming out into the world and seeing the world differently. It's just the transformation is just believable and remarkable every single time. I mean, it's brand new for me, like a brand new experience. Each individual that I work.
Oh, I love that. And can really see your passion shines through. I'm like that when I'm doing the animal communication work. It just blows me away. I've been doing it for years, and every single time it just completely blows me away. And this is when you really know you're on purpose. How did you get into this work in the first place? I know you said you were doing a lot of Lemurian healing, but it's so, there's not many people that do what you did. So talk us through your journey as to how you've got there.
Well, it's interesting. I knew I was going to do something special with my life. My mom even told me, like, you're special. You're going to do some amazing things. I'm like, yeah, okay. That means I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have all this wealth to do. Little did I know that Spirit had something else in me. And so it was back around 2008, here in the States when the recession hit. And, I had my own business at the time. And, people couldn't afford what I could do. I had a marketing agency. And people are like, oh, well, you're a luxury business. I can't afford you. I'm cutting back on expenses. I'm like, oh, great. Now what? And so, lost my business, relationship ended. So it's like everything that could have possibly happened did. And it was in that space I was able to find the path of gratitude. And in that path of gratitude, I began to see life differently, interact with life differently. And with me interacting with that, I was able to access my abilities through the space of gratitude by opening up myself again because I had my abilities or were known of them since I was a child through my teenage years. And, as adults, we tend to get busy with life. And since I was expressing the gratitude, it's like, oh, wait, premonitions are coming back. Psychic impressions are coming in. So then I then learned, I went to psychic mediumship school and learned to hone my psychic abilities where I'm more clairaudient. So I hear things. And even now, as I'm in almost 50, I'll be 47 next month, that my hearing is like super stellar. I'm like, how can I hear that from here?
Mm.
And from there, just moved into me developing and honing my abilities as an energy practitioner where I connect with Syrian galactic energies, earth energies, to utilize to assist me in being of service for other people. And it's just amazing that this, 15-year journey, I think it is.
Mm.
Wait, 15 years? That's the first time I'm saying that out loud,
Oh,
Catherine.
yeah, time flies when you're having such fun.
Yeah, and it's just amazing that to see the impact that that people have allowed me to leave upon them is just one of the most grateful and amazing experiences of my life. I wouldn't have asked for anything better.
Yeah. And can you work with people? Do you work with people remotely or do they have to come and
Oh
see you?
yeah. I mean, when I used to live in New York, I used to see people in person all the time, and then when I relocated to Florida, I began to see all my New York clients virtually. So yeah, everything is in person virtually. However, it's what needs to be for that person. I mean, I'm completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so with everything that's been going on, obviously we're on YouTube, so we're careful about what we do talk about, but have you seen more people sort of seeking a greater understanding into themselves and their soul's journey since everything has blown up big time over the last 3 years?
Oh, that's an absolute yes. I mean, there that goes without saying because the time that we're in presently is an interesting one, and it reminds me of the time of Lemuria and Atlantis. And I say that with the open heart because there was a time, and the time is reoccurring, and you understand with civilization, things tend to be cyclical. And And this time it's a little bit different because there's phase of destruction and there's opportunity of construction of the planet, and it has never happened before. It's always been one or the other, never both at time. And I feel because people are wanting to understand themselves on a more of an energetic level or more on the soul level of wanting to know why am I here? What's my purpose? What brings me joy? And everything that's popping up, such as I'm thinking the terminology, but things like Uber, where people can work for themselves and things like that. It has really given people more time and more flexibility to do that soul searching work to really understand what is what fits them, what is best for them, you know. And it's just amazing to see how we allow ourselves to be open to explore the possibilities when we have that freedom to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. So how would you sum up where we are? I know, as a race, really, as a human race, and such a planetary wise at the moment, how do you see things playing out? What are you picking up energetically?
You know, one thing that we have to first come to understand that the separation that is being portrayed right now, the separation that has been going on for centuries, coming to an end. And that is because that we are now beginning to understand and see the human, and I talk about this in one of my other previous interviews, is how the human, HUEMAN, soul is really coming into harmony, into fruition, into the resonance with that. But in order for the human to really emerge, we have to discard all of the older beliefs
Mm.
of separation, of black and white, male, female, all of that. All of that has to go because it doesn't serve us anymore. And when we step into that space of being cleared of that belief, then we can fully emerge as the human race, the full spectrum of who we were intended and created to be.
It's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, we talk so much, there's so much talk about this connection coming back in. And in fact, a lot of other animal species have never lost it, but we have got so separated from everything else. But it can be quite hard, I think, for people when they're caught in the current situation to feel confident this is happening. So are you seeing signs that this really is, coming to fruition and speeding up this process?
Oh yeah, I mean and you can see it in the news. I mean, not that I watch the news, but but I mean, I watch it very seldom, and the things that I do see on social media and how things are playing out, the more that there is a fight, the more that there is this illusion of separation, it just creates more of the opposite, meaning that, yes, I don't believe in this, yes, that political arena, or this, about the financial system crumbling, all of that. It just is creating more of the opposite, meaning that yes, there's going to be more harmony and coherence in the fields of wealth for everybody, or in our political system where the people's voices are being heard, and
Mm.
that's what's happening. Whether we acknowledge it or not, it's in that space of resonance that we allow for something greater than ourselves to fully emerge, to where people are saying enough is enough already. I want to be who I want to be. And thank goodness for these Gen Zs and millennials and all these other kids that are coming in right now, because they have that tenacity, they have that resiliency to really drive it home. So I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to go back, if we can, a bit to the gratitude side of things. So you were just explaining how when you went through something that was pretty devastating, sort of everything appearing to crumble away at once, that you found gratitude. Can you just go into that in a bit more detail? Because again, gratitude has been a huge turning point in my life. And it's one of these things where everyone hears it, gratitude, meditation, do the inner work.
Right.
But making it really real for people in terms of how transformational these so-called simple things really can be on an individual level, and how that impacts those around you.
Yeah. First, I want to share this little tidbit that really helped me to acknowledge what was going on in my life. And the signs are so simple, so minute, that we can often dismiss them for something else or dismiss them completely. And for me, it was my vice was my special blend at Cold Stone before I was vegan. I would go to Cold Stone almost every day after work because the Cold Stone was like 2 doors down from where I worked. I would get a pint of oatmeal ice cream with, and I still remember that like 15 years later, but it's oatmeal ice cream with white chocolate chips, coconut, and caramel. And I would get a pint of it and I would eat it every day. And then one day my aunt came over to my house and she said to me, "Do you think you're depressed?"
Oh, wow.
And I looked at her, said, "No, I don't think I am, but you might be right." And it was in that moment where I was like, something's not right with me. Because my life, I was just doing what I can to get to the next day, whatever made me feel good in that moment to get to the next day. And so when I stood there and I acknowledged that. And when I asked for help, from my friends, from my family, and was just saying, thank you for your help. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It really began to seep in to my cells, into my being, into my daily life of really understanding that gratitude is more than just saying please and thank you. It's more than mannerisms. It's the way that you live. And I began to live in gratitude by just saying thank you and saying thank you when I meant it,
Mm.
heartfelt thank you. And then this was way before I was practicing meditation. I just thank you. And thank you was enough. And I allowed that to be enough. And it was in that that just changed my whole perspective about myself and allowing people to help me when I needed it. And so, for those who have a lot of pride, trust me, all you have to do is to say thank you and waterworks.
Yeah. It's huge, isn't it? It's absolutely huge. And so often, I mean, one, how perceptive of your aunt and how great
Yeah,
that you were open. Was it said, what made, because so many people can have that, it's one of the biggest challenges when someone's really struggling with their mental health. And I
yeah,
don't even like calling it mental health, Hillis. I don't know what your opinion is on this, but for me, you can't separate the physical and mental health, and sort of by categorizing it too much. In one way, it's helpful because it allows people to talk about it, but in another way, it's another separation. How do you
yeah.
feel about that, first and foremost?
It's all about how we perceive ourselves. You know, for example, when I work with people, I only use this word that I'm about to say in the commercial sense. So that way people have a better grasp of what it is that I do. And that's the word heal.
Mm,
I often replace the word heal with nourishing or nourishment, because that's what the soul is asking for. That's what we are asking for. That's what the food we eat does for us. And so we are on this path of, seeking nourishment. This is why we have these cravings and these, things that get our attention because we're in this space of constantly craving something. So the mental health aspect, I wouldn't necessarily call it, mental health.
mm.
And actually, I don't know what I would call it, but there's no term for it yet, to be honest, because you have the mental capacity to truly understand what is going on in your life. The question is, are you accepting what is happening? Are you tolerating what is going on? And the answer is yes, we're tolerating what is happening in our lives because sometimes we just don't see any other way out. And so then when we begin to find that way out, when we begin to fight for what it is, people call us crazy. People call us lunatics. People call us all kinds of things in the book, which then can affect our mental faculties and then even label us differently because we're the brave ones. We're confident enough to step into something different, bold enough to say, hey, you know what? This isn't right. Something is wrong here. I have to fix this. No, 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 no. Keep it status quo. Don't shake up the boat. Don't do any of that stuff. And so it is in that vein that we are often labeled the crazy one. So I think everyone has it backwards, especially in the space of the professionals. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a tough one. It's a lot of people are, working through a lot of issues and still feeling quite isolated from those around them.
Yeah,
But when you, as you say, when you start really embodying and really meaning working from a way of gratitude, you start to notice different things. It's like, the same when you change Wayne Dyer, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And
yeah,
that's so true, isn't it? And yet that initial step can be so challenging for people.
it is. And gratitude is honestly the foundation of my being. And actually, gratitude should be the foundation of everybody's being because you create this solid place, this place that you can always go to, the place that you can always count on to anchor into. And yes, I'll admit there have been times where I lost my path, on this 15-year plus whatever journey this is. But who doesn't? I mean,
Yeah.
go off and explore. We are explorers on this planet. We are here to experience life in as many varied facets. And if we don't get lost, then we learn nothing. And if we just stay on the path, then we beat ourselves up later for staying too focused. So, I mean, you win or you lose, or you win and you win, or you lose or you lose. But whatever it is, the journey is meant for us to have this amazing experience with ourselves, with our souls, with the creator universal energies that are in existence, because we are always interacting with the energies that are in our space, whether if it's, the animals, the plants, the insects, the food, the water, the sunlight, all of it. It's
Mm.
just how we choose to interact with it. And having gratitude is the best way to begin to interact with that space, or many spaces.
Yeah. It's quite contagious as well. How important is it for you and for all of us to be really conscious of who we're spending time with?
Oh, very important, because I mean, lately I find myself in a space of not really resonating with a lot of people
Mm.
because of the vibrational space that I'm in, you know?
Mm.
And it's oftentimes challenging to go out and explore, to find that resonance, that feel that the people are attracted to. And sometimes you are just that, and people come to you. The other day I was in a meditative journey. I was outside in the backyard, and I, been having this personal journey really to understand and redefine the meaning of love and the meaning of unconditional love. And I saw this white butterfly just flying around the backyard, and I'm like, "Come to me, come to me, come to me." And next thing I know, there's this other white butterfly next, and they start following each other. And the words that came to me was that love follows love. I'm like,
Mm.
and in that example, it's like you can't be so desperate. Not saying that anyone is, but
Mhm.
sometimes we are, to have that special someone, to have that attention, to have whatever. But when you're in the frequency of gratitude, of appreciation, of love, it follows itself. So there's nothing that needs to be done except to begin to embody that in which you are, which is pure positive energy.
Oh my God, that's such a good way of it explaining it, Hillis. It really is. And you can see that actually when, we can all feel it when someone's in that vibration. We can
Yeah.
feel it's genuine, feel when it's not, which brings me on to the law of vibration, which is another subject I know you've got a lot of experience with. What most people have heard the law of vibration, but what does it mean to you and why is it so important that we grasp this?
Well, a lot of people heard of the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Okay. Abraham Hicks made it popular. I love Abraham Hicks. I appreciate her work and the message that the channeled beings of Abraham have brought. And it's in that sense that I've allowed myself to open up and expand on that. And the law of vibration, is basically like energy attracts like. I'm not going to get into the full definition because it's
Mm.
just a lot that it encompasses. But when you have the harmonic energy that is you, when you have the harmony of coherence within you, when you believe fully in that vibration, sometimes most people do it on an unconscious level
Mm.
where it's not that powerful, but yet it's still powerful because we think of something that, ooh, there it is, proof. But it's important because in the space of creation, when we allow ourselves to create, we attract the things that we want to create with, for people, the experiences. It is in that field in which we allow ourselves to create. And here's, I'll just break it down really quick. And this is what I teach in the seminars with my clients is the formula. of manifestation and how law of vibration works. So the formula is that you have your thoughts, you have your emotions, you have your words that equals the manifestation, the vibration, if you will. And so just imagine you are a car and your car is your thought. So the car is completely neutral. The car has no direction, nothing, no gas, none of it. It's just sitting in a neutral space. Then you add the emotion to it, which is the gas, fuel, to give it the energy, the momentum for it to go.
Mm.
And so then you, the driver, finally get in this car that is emotionally filled and ready to go, but it still has no direction. And so you get in the car, you put your foot on the gas, accelerating that energy, giving that energy power and even more momentum. But now it's the words, you, the driver, have your hands on the steering wheel, giving it direction, giving it purpose, giving it pause to go into where you want to go. And then you end up at your destination, which is the mountain.
Yeah, I think it's very easy for people to get into a state of why is this happening to me?
Yes.
So if you have someone come to you that is in that sort of mindset, how would you use some of the tools you've got in your toolkit to explain that they have the power to shift it?
Well, first off, we've been trained a lot, and I know some of my peers have been trained in this way as well, is to spiritually bypass that.
Mm.
And what I mean is, okay, I feel this way, but I don't want to feel this way. So I'm just going to skip over it. I'm just going to like push it away. But then a week later or 2 weeks later, that same feeling comes back.
Mm.
What I do is to suggest people sit in that, sit in to understand why you feel the way that you feel. Question, where is this feeling coming from? Is it coming from me? Is it coming from an experience that I had with someone else? Is this because of how I'm interacting with my environment?
Mm.
And so when you allow yourself to sit in that space, you then can discover the root cause of that. And then you can clear that out. Then you can move beyond it because you understand where it is and how to move past it now. So when it comes up again, you know how to move through it quicker because every emotion is going to repeat itself. Every experience is going to repeat itself in some form or fashion. It's just that when we begin to understand the root causes, we know how to move through it quicker and faster. And that's how some of the best shamans, some of the best energy healers, such as myself, recognize signs, symbols, emotions, all of it to understand that to help people move through it.
Yeah, it's a really, really important point, isn't it? I mean, the
Yeah.
emotional bypassing can be really extend the journey a lot. And I'm laughing because, we all do it at times, but
Oh
actually,
yeah, even me, I'm not
yeah,
perfect.
yeah, it is a really, really good point you've made there. So if you had in terms of going back to sort of the collective at the moment and what we're seeing, because there's a lot of disruption going on. So you were talking about that we're in a state where there's a lot of disruption, but also a lot of creation. On an individual basis, what are some of your key tips that people could actually really concentrate on of working on themselves to really create whatever it is they're looking to manifest in their life?
There are many, many, many tools. And one of the things that I recommend is to sit with yourself and focus on the joy. Focus on where the love is. And whether if it's listening to your favorite song, while you clean dishes, while you do housework, it's just allow yourself to focus on that space. Turn off the news, turn off any distractions,
Mm.
turn off anything that makes you angry, turn off anything that makes you upset, and turn off anything that triggers you because that's gonna put you back in that space. And then when you allow yourself to focus in on the love, focus in on the joy, you're going to allow for more of that to come into your life, and other things are just going to fall away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay, and it's okay if we revert back because sometimes we just want to have that feeling of nostalgia, go back to those memories that we thought we were happy in, or actually were happy. And so it's okay to replay those happy moments as long as we have that center of gravity of feeling the love, feeling the joy, feeling happy, as that is what we do. And sometimes if you're not having a good day, just smile, even if it's a fake smile, because just a little crack, just a little twinkle of a smile can help make you feel better about what's going on in your life.
Mm.
And if that doesn't work, find a quiet space, whether it's your car, your home, wherever, and just do some quick breaths, just a couple of deep breaths to allow the energy to move. Because we have to understand that the air that we breathe is life, and that life needs oxygen. Whether if it's the water or the sunlight, it all needs the same materials, the same chemicals, the same everything for it to function. So when we allow for ourselves to take that moment, take that nice big deep breath and allow it to move. And it is in that movement that we allow ourselves to be free. And once we are free, we can move on to the next emotional feeling in that space, in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it is true, isn't it? I mean, being in the present moment is so, so important and fits into everything that you've spoken about. It's great to have goals, isn't it? But also it's really important to appreciate the right here, right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, we as uh humanity, as a society, as a culture, we have been so conditioned focus on what's happening tomorrow, focusing on an hour from now. Well, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? What's your goal at the end of the year? I'm like, can I just be right here, right now?
Mm. Exactly. And with the pace everything's changing at, I mean, some of the opportunities that are opening up now, people can't even contemplate about. So
Oh,
sometimes the imagination is just not big enough to actually encompass what's coming. So what do you see coming in the near future? What changes are you excited to see?
as I connect to this energy, I'm excited to see the harmony, the peace, the oneness that is going to be coming. And I feel that is going to be coming after 2025 because
Mm,
we're still in this space of really constructing everything, and everyone is not really able to see or comprehend the space that is being cultivated.
mm,
And it takes everyone on the planet to cultivate this energy of love, this unison. And all it takes is just one listen, for it only takes one person to show this, for someone to see this. And as they do, it just begins to resonate. And that's what I'm looking most forward to. That and living to when I'm 120, where I can actually really say enjoy my full time here on the planet. So yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, it's fascinating when it's what I find so fascinating is who'd have thought a few years ago so many of us would be having these sort of conversations.
Me.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I
Because I mean
didn't
honestly,
have many people in my life a few years ago that I could have these conversations with.
I mean these conversations is what help to fuel and create my own personal expansion. That along with many different plant medicine journeys that I've done, having, many tools and friends that are like-minded like me. And so we just have these conversations all the time. And it's just one of the reasons why I have my show. That I mean, I can just sit down and talk about this kind of stuff all day, everything from the energy work I do to gratitude, to love, to this, to that. I mean, it's my joy. It's my happy.
To talk about your show then, tell everyone about those where they can find you.
So this week would be our last week before we go on a hiatus. So our show is called Cosmic Insight. It can be found on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and it's myself and my co-host Rebecca Gregory, where we do every Friday night we do a live show. Don't know what we're going to talk about till it happens. It's moved and by spirit. So spirit is like, okay, let's have this discussion. And so it is in that. But what we enjoy the most about our show is that every week, well, except for the last two, we do weekly live energy healing, sound energy healings on the show. And because Rebecca's a sound practitioner and I do energy, and so there's just this magic that is with us, the two of us, and as we create this magic, it just resonates out to everyone else. So, I mean, it's such a joy to do that.
Oh, that's really, really great. So how long are you taking a break for then?
Probably for about a month,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit more, only because we're going to revamp the show a little bit and open up to other platforms. So yeah, there's some behind the scenes stuff that's going to be going on that wouldn't be able to go on while the show is running. So yeah, but people can catch past episodes where we did an interview with Bruce Lipton, did an interview with one of my favorite people on the planet, Neil Donald Walsh. I mean, you can just check out some of those
You
amazing
did an interview
interviews.
with Bruce Lipton.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. Oh my goodness, that's what I'm going to be listening to tonight. I love Bruce Lipton. He's amazing.
I love he and actually so when I started my journey, before I started gratitude, not doing my whole gratitude thing, went probably I've been on my journey a real long time. And I remember going to my local borders, so how long ago this was, that I bought maybe about almost $200 in books. It was him, Bruce Lipton, Neil Donald Walsh, Michael Beckwith, Greg Brayton, and someone else. I bought like 10 books and I read them all. And that really helped me to see things in a new way. And that's really started me on the path that I am on now.
Yeah, and I love all of them. I really do. And this is what I would say to people. There's so many resources out there. If you're looking to make any shifts in your life, there's so much out there for people, isn't there? There's, different styles to suit different people at different stages of their life. But if you go looking for it, you will find what you're looking for without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, well, I can't say you find books falling off the shelves like I did. I don't know I don't know what you would do for a book. So just go to Amazon and find and trust your vibration, trust your intuition, and let that be your guide.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So all the links for how people can connect with you will be in the show notes below. I'm really excited to sort of continue these discussions because they're absolutely great. I mean, there's so much more we could cover, but I want to keep it fairly short for people because otherwise we start on another subject. So let us know any questions below, people, for when I manage to get Hillis back on again. But before we leave, any final messages you want to leave anyone with, Hillis?
Just remember to allow yourself to feel what your heart is singing, what your heart is saying, and let that be enough. And let your heart guide you to your path, to your purpose, regardless of all the chaos, all the noise that may be ensuing around you. Let your heart anchor you in every moment, and let that be enough. And allow that enoughness to be the joy that will resonate, bring to you what you have always asked for in your life. And let that be enough.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. I'm going to be looking up some of those episodes soon and also some of the services that you offer. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed it. Let us know your questions below and we can cover those in our next chat. Thank you so much, Hillis. It's such a joy to be getting to know more about you and connecting with you. Have an amazing evening.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, catherineedwards.life and catherineedwardsacademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.